Adaeze's mother had a different surname. Not Okafor. Not Emeka's name. Not the name of the man who had been paying her daughter's rent and school fees and medical bills for 3 years. Her surname was Obi. Chidinma Obi. Same as her own family name. Unmarried. The child registered in her name alone. Mama Okafor had found this out at 6 in the morning, sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of cold tea and her phone, doing what mothers do when their children have given them information that does not fully add up, checking it quietly, carefully, until the thing that does not fit becomes visible. And the thing that did not fit was this. If Emeka had been involved, present, and responsible, as he said, why was the child registered in the mother's name only? What exactly did involved mean in London? Belle, and who is this Chidinma, really? Because the story Emeka had told was tidy. And Mama Okafor, who had been a fabric trader for 30 years, knew that tidy stories are the ones most likely to have something folded inside them that you cannot see until you shake them out. Let me tell you about Adora properly because she is the one this episode belongs to. Adora Okafor, 24 years old, Owerri born and Owerri built. She was the one who stayed. While Emeka went to London and built his London life, Adora stayed in Owerri. She finished her degree. She helped manage the family home. She was the one who drove Mama to the hospital when Papa had his health scare in 2021. She was the one who translated Mama's market accounts into a simple spreadsheet when the numbers became too many to track. She was the one who woke up at 5:30 every morning, the one who made sure the generator fuel was bought, the one who dealt with the compound maintenance, the one who, when people asked, "How is the family?" was the family. She loved her brother. Genuinely. The love of someone who grew up under the protection of a firstborn sibling and never forgot that. But she was also angry. Not the loud anger that shouts and breaks things. The quiet Igbo woman anger that does its work in silence and comes out perfectly formed when it is ready. Because Adora had suspected something for 2 years. She had seen the way Emeka deflected certain questions in their video calls. The pauses when she asked, "Is there anything else?" The topic changing when Mama asked about grandchildren. She had not said anything because she had no proof. And in the Okafor family, you did not speak without proof. But now there was proof. And Adora was deciding what to do with her suspicion that the proof they had been given was still not the full picture. Adora's phone call was not to Emeka. It was to Emmanuel, Emeka's old friend. The one Emeka had mentioned. The one whose sister was Chidinma. Adora had Emmanuel's number from years back, from when she used to send airtime through him for Emeka when Emeka's own phone credit ran out. They had spoken maybe 5 times in their lives. But she dialed now. Emmanuel picked up on the 3rd ring. She could hear London in the background. Traffic, the particular sound of a city that never fully quiets. "Emmanuel," she said. "This is Adora, Emeka's sister." A pause. "Adora." "Yes." "How are you?" "I am well." "Emmanuel." She took a breath. "My brother came home 2 days ago. He has told us some things. But I am calling you because I believe there are things he has not told us. And I would like to understand before my mother asks questions that will hurt her more than they need to." A longer pause. "Adora," Emmanuel said. "Your brother is a good man. He has made mistakes, but he is a good man." "I know that," she said. "I am not asking you to judge him. I am asking you to help me protect my mother from finding out the hard way." Emmanuel was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "There is something Emeka should have told you. But it is for him to say, not me. Ask him directly, Adora. Ask him about the year before he met Ifeoma. Ask him what happened in that year." "What happened?" "I cannot say. But ask him." He ended the call. Adora sat on the edge of her bed, with the phone in her hand. Bell the year, before he met Ifeoma. What happened in that year? Why would Emmanuel not say it? What was so heavy that even a friend who knew everything refused to carry it on someone else's behalf? 3 days after the arrival, Mama Okafor asked Ifeoma to help her prepare ofe akwu. This was not a casual invitation. In Owerri, when a woman invites you to cook with her, she is inviting you into her real self. The kitchen is where the performance stops. The kitchen is where the true conversation happens. Ifeoma came in her house clothes, a simple blue cotton top and wrapper. She had watched what Mama cooked and understood the standard. She did not pretend to be better than she was. She asked questions where she did not know. She helped where she could. They worked together in comfortable quiet for a while. The palm fruit boiling, the stockfish soaking, the crayfish ground and waiting. Then Mama said, without looking up from the pot, Ifeoma, tell me about yourself. Not what you have already told us. Tell me who you are. Ifeoma answered honestly. She talked about growing up between Anambra and London. She talked about her parents. She talked about her work. She talked about how she met Emeka at a Nigerian community event in Hackney on a Saturday afternoon when she had not planned to go. She had been tired and almost stayed home. He was the first person to make me laugh genuinely in a long time, she said. That was the first thing. Mama Okafor nodded, listening. And when he told you about the child? Mama asked. About Adaeze? Ifeoma was quiet for a moment. Then, I cried, she said. I am being honest. I cried for one day. Not because of the child is innocent, but because he kept it. Because I had to wonder what else was kept. And what did you decide? Mama Okafor asked. I decided that he had told me the truth when it was hardest to tell it. And that is a rare thing in a man. Mama looked at her. Really looked at her. The way a woman looks at another woman when she is deciding whether to trust her. He is not perfect, Mama said. I know, Ifeoma said. I did not marry perfect. I married honest. A moment passed between them. Not friendship yet, but the beginning of respect. Then Ifeoma said, very carefully, Mama, there is something I've been wondering whether to tell you. Because I think you may already know. And I think the reason Emeka has not said it is that he is ashamed. Not of the child. Of what came before the child. Mama put the ladle down. Tell me, she said. Belle, what Ifeoma told her next was not about Chidinma or about Adaeze. It was about London. About what Emeka's life in London had really looked like for the year and a half before he found his footing. About the particular darkness that many young Nigerians in foreign countries fall into when the dream is harder than expected and home feels too far and too proud to return to in failure. It was Mama who asked him. That evening, after Adaora's phone call, after the kitchen conversation with Ifeoma, Mama called Emeka into the parlor and closed the door. She sat across from him. She said, Emeka, tell me about the year you do not talk about. The year before you got the good job. The year before Ifeoma. Tell me what was happening. He looked at her. He said, how do you know about that year? She said, because I am your mother, and because the version you gave us is too clean. Life is not that clean. Another long pause. And then Emeka told them. That year, the third year in London, he had lost his first proper job when the company downsized and laid off its contract staff. He had spent 6 months unable to find equivalent work. He had gone from a one-bedroom flat he shared with Emmanuel to a shared room in a house in Peckham with 5 other people. He had eaten badly. He had slept badly. He had stopped calling home because he could not bear for his parents to hear failure in his voice. He had withdrawn. And in that withdrawal, he had made choices. He had borrowed money, small amounts at first, then larger, from people he should not have borrowed from. He had worked cash jobs that he is not proud of, not illegal, but not the career he had come to London to build. He had been, for 1 year, a man living below himself. And it was during this year that Chidinma had found him. Or rather, that they had found each other. 2 Nigerians in London who were both struggling, who had been a comfort to each other, who had made a child unplanned, in a moment of comfort that neither was prepared for. Why did you not call us? Mama asked. Her voice was very quiet. Because he stopped. Then, because you believed in me. You told everyone about me. You framed my certificate on the wall. And I was sleeping in a shared room in Peckham with no job and no plan, and a child on the way that I could not announce to anyone. A long silence. Mama Okafor looked at her son. And then she did something nobody in the room expected. She got up, crossed the room, and held him. Her adult son. 29 years old, taller than her by a full head. She held him the way she had held him when he was 6 years old and fell out of the guava tree. She held him and she said, into his hair, you could have called us. We are not the newspaper. We are your family. We are not for the good times only. He was very still in her arms. I know, Mama, he said. I know now. Deciduous tree pride is a heavy thing to carry alone. The Okafor family had built Emeka up so high that he could not bring himself to ask them to help him when he fell. This is the difficulty of love that measures. Love should not create a standard so high that the person you love cannot come to you in failure. A mother's arms must be open for the clean and the broken equally. Adora waited until the house was quiet. Then she went to the backyard, where Emeka was standing, looking at the Owerri sky. She stood beside him for a minute without speaking. Then she said, "You should have told me." He looked at her. "You call me every week," she said. "We talked about everything. You let me think you were fine, when you were not fine. You let me tell Mama and Papa that you were doing well, when you were struggling. I defended you to people in this compound for 8 years. I told them, Emeka is building his career. Emeka is working hard. And you are sleeping in a room with 5 people, and you did not tell your own sister." Her voice was steady, not shouting, the Adora kind of anger. "I know," he said. "You keep saying you know," she said. "But saying you know is not the same as understanding what it cost us. What it cost me, carrying the family in Owerri while thinking I knew what you were doing in London." He nodded. "I am not your image manager," she said. "I am your sister. There is a difference." A long silence. The stars above Nikid. "Adora," he said finally. "You are right. You are completely right. And I am sorry. Not a quick sorry. A real one." She looked at him for a moment. The way she had looked at him their whole lives, with a particular assessment of a younger sibling who has watched a beloved person make mistakes and still chosen to love them. "I know your wife is good," she said. "I watched her. She is good. Do not mess it up." He almost smiled. "I hear you," he said. "And your daughter," Adora said. "I want to see her. I am her auntie. She does not know it yet, but I am, and I take that seriously." This time he did smile. "Properly. I will arrange it," he said. "I promise." Next episode. The family knows about the child now. The family knows about the lost year. They are beginning to heal. But there is still something Emeka has not said. Something about why he really came back when he did. Something connected to a phone call from Owerri 6 months ago, a call he has not mentioned to anyone. And when the reason for that call comes to Owerri in person, everything that has been mended will be tested again. Next episode, what London did to him. Under the talking Baobab.